Ready for battle! Get to it, men! Ready for...
Hi guys, Ludo's here with another dank stream. This stream is probably going to be short, so I decided not to use my headset. I'm just using my regular headphones. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about the slabs, but most importantly, I think most of this stream is going to be dedicated to micro and macro. A lot of people tend to not know the difference between micro and macro, surprisingly. I mean, I used to not know the difference either until, of course, I started getting into the Total War franchise. Simply put, the difference between micro and macro is like the big picture and the small picture. Macro being the big picture, micro being the small picture. And to show you guys, or display it like a bit better, like I'm going to bring up a random replay. Doesn't matter which one it is. Actually it does, because a 1 versus 1 would be better. This is my most recent replay. I don't think I've shown it before, so I'm fine showing it now. I might have streamed it though, so I most likely did. Actually, yeah, I did show this one. But it's not a big deal. Most people haven't seen it, so it doesn't matter. This was me against Black Death. You guys might know I've played against him a bunch of times.
I need a drink! I am thirsty! So, let's get this over quickly! Batter them and beat their heads so hard their eyes pop out! Then we shall drink, and I shall get royally fit!
Yeah, I remember. Now I remember. I streamed this. Anyway, so Basically, macro and micro is the same thing as strategy and tactics. Strategy is your big picture, like what you want to accomplish in a battle. Your tactics are the small things you do to make that goal a reality. So macro in the same sense is like what units do. Like for example, sorry, let me just go back to the tactical map. Like your archers, for example. Will your archers, do you have your archers on fire at will or not? You know, the macro is basically what the unit does by itself without being told to do. For example, in combat, units fight other units. When fire at will is on, they fire. When skirmish is on, they retreat. When they're being charged at, they brace, and so on. Macro is like, for example, issuing charge orders, like you click on this unit, you click it on there, or you push up a unit in shield wall. The reason why I wanted to talk about it also is because, you know, I feel that in a lot of battles my micro could be a bit better. Like up until Rome 2, my micro was sturdy. In Shogun 2, I struggled a lot, mainly because of the battle speed. But the reason why I struggled also was because Shogun 2 is a fast-paced game. Like micro doesn't matter that much. It's more on the macro. It's more on, you know, just using certain units for certain things instead of like paying attention to individual things, like for example gaps in a person's army. See, with this battle, he has more units that could do macro than I do. What I mean by that is, like, these berserkers need very careful micro. These noble dramatic swordsmen don't need as much as the berserkers. The dramatic warband need less micro than vandal berserkers, but more micro than the spearmen. The archers can micro themselves because of skirmish mode. And that's basically their macro. And I have fire at will on, so they'll fire at incoming units. The cavalry, and I said this in Rome 2, I said it in a previous stream about Rome 2, cavalry need the most micro. The most micro goes down to horse cavalry, melee cavalry, not melee cavalry, shock cavalry. Well, melee cavalry too, but more, both. Let's just say both.
General. Defend him.
What they need is more micro because unlike horse archers or horse skirmishers, they do not have skirmish mode, and therefore they cannot retreat if you're not paying attention to them. And so if you don't like retreat them yourselves or counter, you're basically a sitting duck to whatever they want to do. So for example, here his micro is going to be using this unit of noble dramatic swordsmen to charge into this unit of spears, or this unit here is going to charge there too. My micro, or my tactic right here, is using these berserkers to charge into this unit of noble dramatic swordsmen. His micro is going to be to go on the flanks, my micro is to do the same thing. His macro is these archers are still firing, but if he's not paying attention, they could just be firing anywhere. Sometimes I've noticed that because of how Attila works, these archers could end up firing into the backs of these units, and because of how the mechanics work, you're 20% more likely to hit your own units if you're firing from the back. I think it's the same thing for Rome 2, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I'm not going to show the whole battle because I already showed it before. But yeah, that's basically the whole gist of it. The macro is bigger picture, you know, archers firing, units staying in shield wall bracing. Micro is the individual movements, and you have to have good micro in order to be really good at Total War games. That's what I've realized over the years, and that's kind of why I think that in order to master each Total War game, you have to be good at microing. If you want to learn like how to micro better, and just watch the Prussian Prince. He's really good at microing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that replay. And the reason is because most of the streams, oh whoops, my game crashed. Basically, most of the stream was supposed to be about micro and macro, but then I realized that that won't work out well because I'd just be wasting my time again. I was supposed to do another stream on the Franks, but I'm going to save that for another day. I realized a few days ago that I didn't even finish my Total War guide for Attila. My faction guide for Attila, sorry. I actually did finish it, but I haven't like uploaded it to Steam. Like I have the description going, but the reason I didn't is because I'm still doing campaigns for the desert factions. The Garamantians I did, the Alans I did, and the Slovenians I did, but I didn't upload any of those. I did upload the Ostrogothic Kingdom, so I'm happy with that. But the other three I didn't. No, the other two I didn't. I did upload the Garamantian one, but not the Alans and Slovenians. Speaking of which, I just wanted to talk about the Slovenians specifically. Man, like, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I guess when you just get a DLC, you want to do what you're used to doing. These three Slavic factions are so much different from the other factions when it comes to victory conditions, obviously, but also when it comes to your campaign goal. You have to get in order to get a minor victory, you have to have iron, you have to have wood, and you have to have 70% state religion. Now, what that could mean is you can basically change your religion to the major religion into in your state, but I don't recommend that. I recommend just staying Slavic in all three of them. I've done the Venetian campaign. That was the first Slavic campaign I did. It lasted 300 turns. I did a Slovenian campaign in one day, surprisingly. My first one was an aggressive one where I decided to tackle the Huns head on, but I realized that that wasn't working and it was causing me a lot of problems. I then decided to go defensive, let the Huns come to me. And that actually worked. I was surprised. Case in point, don't fight the Huns if you don't have to initially because they'll beat you. As the Anteans, the campaign I'm doing right now because I lost the other one, basically, you could do this, like I'm probably going to do the same thing or something similar to what I did in my Slovenian campaign where I went to Scythia and then went to Transcarpathia and then got my resources there and then just blitzed religion. But in this case, it probably won't work because of the Liberty for Wolves trait. Basically, most of your fighting initially for the Anteans is going to be on open ground whether you like it or not, unless you're a horde. But if you become a horde too early, all the nomads will end up fighting you, and then eventually the Huns will too, and you can't fight the Huns. Maybe you can fight like one Hunnic army and then another Hunnic army after a few turns, but all at once it's not possible. Initially, like even before Attila's born, the Huns, in the first 20 turns, the Huns will have weak armies, but they'll have a lot of cavalry. It's rare that they'll have a lot of infantry in their armies, but it is possible too. The other nomads will, so you have to be careful with that. I decided to do a hard campaign. I wouldn't recommend a legendary campaign with the Anteans because the Huns will definitely declare war on you. Not even that, like even the other nomads would probably declare war on you too because their units would cost like nothing, next to nothing, and then they could just recruit multiple units. With this campaign, your biggest problem, like I just said, is fighting on open battles. That includes sieges. That doesn't include desert battles. So if you do go eastward, you should be like fine. You don't get any bonuses or debuffs. Um, in grasslands, like most of the Ukrainian land, which is where you start off, is in fact grassland. There are forests like outlying it, like there are multiple forests, but to actually get the AI to fight you there is rare, especially if you outnumber them. Now, of course, the difference between this trait and the Slovenian trait is the fact that the Slovenians only get the bonus if they're fighting nomads, which does mean that if you are in a forest, um, and well, with the Anteans, it doesn't matter if it's nomadic. So, what that means is that you can fight anyone in a forest, and then you'll still get the bonus. Which is kind of why I do want to, why I want to just become a horde and then travel like to Dacia and then also to Raitia and Norcom. That's where the resources are. But to actually capture those two provinces completely is hard. And especially because you're not a Germanic paganist, Germanic pagan faction, initially anyway. What ends up happening is you're going to have a bunch of people that hate you, including the Huns. And so this happened in my Venetian campaign. I was set back by the Huns because I decided to stop paying tribute around the 100th turn. And then that's when the Huns just came. And they ended up raising one of my territories, but I got it back quickly. I think the same thing will happen with the Antine campaign if I decide to overstretch myself. Because the barbarians will just, like, outright destroy you if you try to invade Roman territory there, because they're trying to do the same thing too. And they're stronger than you are most of the time. But anyway, that's what I've been doing for a while. It's a hard campaign. It's not easy. And like 0.1% of people have actually done the campaign, whether it be on easy or legendary. I don't know if anybody's done it on legendary. There might be a few people who've done it. I haven't seen any uploads to the Chronicle on somebody doing the Antine campaign. In fact, I don't even know if I've seen any for the Slavs in general. I uploaded my Venetian one and my Slavic one, a Slovenian one. So I'm pretty good. So here's my game plan. Right now, Romula is still occupied by the Gepids. The Gepids are a tributary state of the Huns. Declaring war on the Gepids means that you're declaring war on the Huns. I don't know if the Gepids are at war with anyone else, but even if I went down here, I don't know if the Eastern Roman Empire is still alive. Because if they are, chances are, like, not even them, like, if these are Eastern Roman separatists, they'll end up declaring war on me too. In Raitia and Norcom, I'd have to go all across Hercynia, which is dangerous because the Huns spawn around here, based on my experience with the Venetian campaign. They spawn around here, and then what ends up happening is all they have to do is go down into Transcarpathia, and then if I'm at war with them, they'll just start raising everything. Because of course I can't fight them. However, chances are I'm still going to go through with this. I'm going to probably go down to Romula, take the entire province of Dacia. I might not go to Raitia. Instead, I'll just go to Scythia because Scythia is pretty safe. Like I said, the Huns, for the most part, spawn around here. Sometimes you'll see them in Hyperborea, but I think they travel there. See, I think the Birth of Attila dialogue says that he was born in the Scythian wastes, but if I'm correct, he was born in Hungary. which is weird. Hungary is in Raetia. No, it's in Pannonia. This is Hungary right here. Dacia is Romania. Sarmatia, Europe, I think part of Hyperborea, Germano-Sarmatia, and Transcarpathia is all part of Ukraine. Or most of it is, anyway. And then, yeah. So there is a possibility that they spawn here too. Scythia initially is completely desolate, so it's possible. But I don't know, so. But that's the game plan. I'm going to go for Dacia, move all the way back to Scythia, take the entire province. It will be easy. And hopefully I can build my shrine. Gepids, where are you? I thought I met them already. Yeah, why can't I see them? For the most part, the Huns are right here, or the leader is. And like I said, they travel all the way from here downwards. For the most part, they've been coming through my territory a lot. And I don't like that, really. But I can't declare war on them because most of my battles right now are going to be on open grass. In fact, like I said, like with the Slovenian campaign, I didn't even fight the Huns once. They did declare war on me, but because I was defensive this time and not offensive, I wasn't at war with them until like the very end. And that's how I won my campaign. So if you don't have to, don't fight the Huns. It's pretty simple. Oops. There we go. So yeah, I'm going from Transcarpathia to Dacia, and I'm going to move right to Scythia and capture the entire province there. It should still be desolate. People usually don't try to regain the entire province, so it should be good for now. I'm just hoping that the Huns don't declare war on me, because that's the last thing I want at this point. Oh yeah, also, when you start this campaign, if you start this campaign really, don't go for bells initially. Wait until the Huns like start moving westward. The entire point of the Slavic campaign is to let the Huns devastate other people's terrain and then recolonize the terrains that are left behind. If you decide to go fight the Huns initially, they'll just do to you what they will eventually do to the barbarians. You know, they'll just destroy. They'll most likely raise your territories unless you're really good at defending.
Ready for orders.
So right now I'm good with the Corinthians, who I think historically are a Gothic tribe. I've been pretty good with my Slavic partners in crime. I still don't have a trade agreement with the Venetians though, so that's a problem. Still, after I make some ground, I can probably start doing things. Like I said though, all I have to do is get wood, get iron, and 70% state religion. I probably won't get it today, but if I do, I'll get it off stream. But I was actually surprised. Even though I knew the Slovenian campaign was easy, it didn't feel like that way when I started the other one. because I decided to be aggressive. I thought that being aggressive with the Huns was a good idea, but I should have known from my experience with the Frankish campaign that when the Huns are fighting you, you don't want to be out in the open. You want to be in settlements. And that was true for the Eastern Roman campaign. The Huns didn't stand a chance once I was in my fortifications. And in the Western Roman Empire campaign, I didn't fight a single battle against the Huns. All of the battles I fought against them were auto-resolved. And I was able to destroy the Huns in, I think, 5 turns after Attila died. It's funny though, because even with my Eastern Roman campaign, I killed Attila before my minor victory.
Making camp. For the tribe.
The last building for our Heimar is going to be the Victory Building, or the Legendary Building, as it's called. Now, before I started streaming, I was actually able to get the Roxolanians into the forest. They had settled there, and for some reason they just stayed there, and I was able to attack them there. And I won a close victory. But again, it's very hard to make them fight on your terrain if you have settlements. That's kind of the reason why I think you're encouraged to make a horde, start migrating. Because if you start migrating, you can end up taking Dacia, and you can take Scythia too, although that's kind of far. The distance between the two is pretty big. Still, it's possible. However, what happens is, if the Eastern Roman Empire isn't fighting a lot of people, or if the separatists are there, they'll just declare war on you. And of course, you definitely do not want the Romans to declare war on you. Like the Huns, you definitely don't want them to declare war on you. But the Romans, they have they have satrapies or puppet states. They have the men to continually harass you. The Huns just spawn their armies, but they have to come from Venetian territory down to your territory. I'm fine with them. I'm fine with this army coming down to my territory as long as they don't
Greetings.
raise
Speak plainly and
or
without
start
idle
raising
your goods.
or raiding my territory.
By all the gods. My friend, be welcome. The spirits of this place.
I'm really hoping that I don't get declared war on initially, because that's your biggest fear when you're playing as the Slavs. That was my biggest fear when I was playing as the Venetians, because it kept on happening, and then eventually it didn't, so that was good. If we can build these 2 provinces, and apparently there is a nomadic tribe there, so I'm just being careful with that. If we can do that, then we should be fine. And then eventually the Gepids will fall. They have to fall. I have to take Romula, and like another faction can't, or else I won't have an iron resource. I don't think you can trade for it, but I'm not 100% sure. And there we have another nomadic tribe. They always pop out of nowhere, and then I'm left with no choice but to declare war on them. I'd rather fight each nomadic tribe separately than fight the Huns. Because most of the times they have like just two hordes. Sometimes they'll just have one because they like lost the other one. But yeah, that's just my preference. I just want to see what horde is there.
Thirsty for battle.
The Bastarnians.
Let them cower before us.
What other religions are going here? No, not really. Okay, so local traditions tell me that Germanic paganism is strong here. I'm surprised because I thought, historically speaking, the Romans had access to, or had control over Dacia. But I don't think they did. I know they had control over Thracia, but probably not Dacia. Anyway, this campaign, it looks promising. I just have to keep control of these two provinces for the time being. The Roxolanians, however, are probably going to try to fight me.
For the tribe!
Right here is a forest, but at this point, I'm just going to upgrade these guys. I'm surprised. They'll raise it. They'll raid it. Not raise. Well, I'm fine with that. Ah, there we are. The Huns.
A flapping tongue that speaks without wisdom is not welcome. Be like a spear and have a point. Ha ha! Thirsty for battle!
We need food as soon as possible.
How may I be of assistance?
Ready for battle!
Can I hire another one? I can. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well met. What do you wish of me?
I won't need 2 here, but I'll need 2 here. And then I'll need food as well. I could have... that's alright. I'll do that next turn. As long as the Huns don't declare war on me, I'm fine. They can raid my territory and do whatever, but as long as they do not declare war on me. Or even like stay in my territory for too long, because that's also bad too. That means that they want to declare war on me, and they eventually will.
The people will turn to the legions, and they will set their swords to your people.
Now, obviously, the Ostrogoths would hate us. I want to see if they won't declare war on us, because sometimes some people, like sometimes the AI doesn't declare war on you. Like it's just determined. It's like random, basically. Like they might not declare war on me the second time around. The Ostrogoths probably won't even declare war on me because they have no reason to. They're fighting against the Huns. Illyria is also fighting. Actually, I don't think Illyria is fighting against the Huns. But the Ostrogoths are. And so is the Eastern Roman Empire.
Well met. What do you wish?
My people can only dream of wealth like yours. Can you not spare some for us? Here.
Aha! A dilemma. What does it say? I had a feeling that the Antians had a dilemma. It just took too long. Slave has appeared in your camp, Lord, claiming to be a Roman general. He calls himself Chilibedius. Never heard of that name. Usually, like, they have these events have some historical background. Chilibedius. Chilibedius. Yeah, I spelled it correctly. No, nothing. Okay. Anyway, a general of some renown. Again, I haven't heard of it, if he is to be believed. He comes before you with a suggestion. It may sound outlandish, but he requests he be returned to his Roman masters, promising to forge an alliance between our people and the Empire as a reward for our mercy. There is little to prove his claims are true, yet the chance of Rome's good graces is not to be so quickly dismissed. We shall arrange to have him brought before you. Right now, that would be really good. If we could get the Romans to befriend us. However, at the same time, that's not going to protect us against the Huns. However, it will if the Romans... Oh, I get it now. It's because I encountered the Eastern Roman Empire. That's why. It's probably why it is. But anyway... If I can get the Huns to fight the Eastern Roman Empire, then chances are, if they're still strong, and I can't tell right now, that they will be able to deflect these Huns, and the Huns will want to fight them more often. However, that will also make them hate us, because we're friends with the Romans. It's a tough one. I'm going to save it here, though, just to make sure. I mean, there's a good chance that this guy isn't a Roman general. But again, I don't know. We're going to find out, though. Chilibedius. I googled it and I couldn't find anything, so this name is obviously made up. Does that affect the storyline? I don't know. Nice and cool. Let's see what this dilemma gives us. A sheep? Okay, so the Roxelanians are done for. Chilibidius, as promised, has been brought before you and made to restate his position. He claims to be a Roman general of quite some prestige. If this is true, surely we would have heard of him before now? Yeah, something's off. All the same, he offers to curry favor with the Empire in our name if we allow him to return. Doubts and shadows abound, but the choice is ultimately yours. This is tough. If I let him back and he's really a general, the Romans would probably like us for that, and they would probably may want to ally with us. I don't know. If we kill him, if we send him back, they may want to ally with us. But on the other hand, he might not be a Roman general, and he could be an actual slave, and nothing happens. If you kill him, chances are the people might like you more because he was lying, or on the other hand, the Romans would probably hate us. So right now I don't want the Romans to hate us. I'm going to send it back to the Romans.
Well met. What do you wish of me?
Let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. I'm actually a bit nervous. I have this weird feeling that this guy isn't actually a Roman general and that he was actually faking it. But I don't know because this is the first time that I've actually gotten the event. So I'm playing, I don't know how to say it, but I'm going blind about this, and I hope that the Romans do actually like us a bit more. Just a bit more, hope. And everything should be fine.
Ready for orders.
Ryzegas is done for. Small box. Dire news, Lord. He's a liar. Oh god, darn it! I knew it. Oh. Wow. The Chilibidius, the slave general we recently sent back to Rome, has been proven nothing but a liar. Another slave in the camp testified, under pain of death, that this Chilibidius is nothing but a rogue. He is well on his way to reaching imperial territory, and it will not be no easy feat. We can still probably intercept him before he reaches them. He lied. I knew when I googled Chilibidius that something was off, but oh well. So I can let him go back to the Romans. He got us good. He goofed us. Or I can hunt him down and kill him. It's too late. But I do want to go back to my save file to see if something could have been, like, what would have happened if I had killed him right there. It's too late though. I personally think it's too late. Like, he's on his way to Rome right now. Whether it be Rome itself or like Ravenna, not Ravenna, Mediolanum. But yeah, by this point it's too late. When I googled Chilibidius, it showed nothing. And that should have told me that this is fake. But again, it's too late. You chase him down, there's always the possibility that the Romans, because you'd be in Roman territory, for the most part, would be angry with you for that. And also, he is a Roman, so you have to be careful. Or maybe he's not even a Roman, I don't know. He goofed us. But if the outcome is unfavorable, what I'll end up doing is I'll just go back to my save file. Because I don't want this campaign to have to like come to an abrupt end because the Romans declared war on me.
I am blessed.
So nothing happens. Fair enough.
Warriors, oh.
I'm going to save it here because I want to see what happens if you kill him right there. And then I want to see what happens afterwards. But I'm probably gonna do it off stream and tell you guys, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks guys so much for watching. Unfortunately, it wasn't a full hour, but it's close enough. Again, thanks guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.